Did a broadcast earlier with the StarVision. Decided to come back out and try the AGM, little $200 auto guider. Hey Matt, yeah, I did a little broadcasting earlier, so I figured I'd come back out and try this camera. Gives you a smaller field of view because it's a smaller sensor. I'm grabbing a little video right now too, so let's see. I do a little live stack to help smooth it out. I'm going to do a average stack. Yeah, I'll leave it live. A lot of that is seeing, you're seeing the atmosphere roll right now because I'm zoomed in at 300%. And I can go to four, that's the max zoom. You're down at the pixel level now, you're at 400. And the sun is going down, so atmospheric conditions are starting to show up. Let's drive around a little bit. There was another problem down there. I gotta see if I can pull that puppy out. Let's see. Yeah, white light and H alpha are very different. As you can see, there is a spot where this camera does not like. I mean, the scope doesn't do well because of there's a hot spot in the sensor. Trying to darken that up a little. Well, you can see the atmosphere is really dancing. And I'm playing with the gamma and the contrast, trying to get the balance. You can see there's a. Go to Epic Pen. You can see there's an arch right here. But it's really hard to pull it out. It's getting pretty high from where I live down here in Louisiana. Uh, there's not a whole lot of activity on the surface right now. I mean, that may be a small spot area right here. Yeah, this is the Lunt 152 is an H alpha scope. It's got about a 0.45 angstrom band path. I could tweak the ailerons to let me see. There was some filaments. Yeah, there's a filament right there. You heard that was a pressure tuner. The ailerons in the Lunt work by varying the pressure to change the band path. Let me see if I can increase. You have to. I was increasing the secondary pressure. Let me lower it. Air. It works and it varies the atmospheric pressure in the chamber. It's a little air compressor that pumps air into the ailerons. That's just material that's lifted off of the surface. Yeah, when you start it up, it evacuates the pressure and then gets it to atmospheric, and then you can vary the pressure. Uh, if you wanted to do it manually, you just turn the knob and it increases and decreases the pressure by compressing the air that's in the chamber. I have the electric units. I can sit down in front of the monitor and vary the pressure just by changing the knobs on the pressure tuners. Let me lower the primary. And the pressure just kicked up. I think it'll look better with a little higher pressure. Okay, just bump the pressure up. It varies it maintains about a half psi pressure differential. If the pressure drops more than that, then the pump kicks on. I'm recording a little short video. Let's see right now. Where's my histogram? Okay. I think the focus is as good as I'm going to get it. I also have an electric micro touch focuser, wireless, that I can sit and stare at the screen and just tweak. I may try to do some deep sky later. There was another filament somewhere. Where was that? Yeah, there it is. This is either a sunspot. My exposure right now is 4.7 milliseconds. and I have the gain set to minimum. Then I can shorten it by a little. Increase it by 1. See, that makes a big difference. Just 2 milliseconds difference. You saw I went from 5, well, almost 6. Now I'm going to go down to almost 4. With the mono camera, the only thing you can adjust is brightness and contrast and the histogram. And then the way you can get the prominence to show would be either to increase the exposure time, or increase the gain, or both. Let me see where those prominences go. There it is. So let me reduce the gain. Let's zoom in on that prom. That's 200 times zoom. The gain is 1. I'm going to try to lower it. It's a fine line with the detail and overexposing it. See if you get the that's 15. It's 20. 25. 30. I'm bumping up the exposure in 5 millisecond increments. Get to 40. So what does it take to start showing that arc? Almost looks like a tree. I'll go to max zoom. Let's go to 400. That's max zoom. And you're at the pixel level. It's a 1.2 megapixel. Yes, it is. So I just went to 50 milliseconds. And now you can faintly see the material that's arcing over. If I increase the exposure, it'll overexpose the main prominence, but let me add 10. We go from 50 to 60. It really doesn't make that arch look any better. I look the best at around 40, 45, 45. And let me play with the histogram now. This is the AGM. This was the original, before the AG 1.2C came out. This was the original AG with the monochrome sensor. It was an Aptina sensor. Rocca has now gone to, I think it's Sony sensors in the 1.2C. Yeah, the new sensors are color only, but they're more sensitive than the sensor in this camera. Let me see if I can go, I'm gonna go up to 50 just to see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, it's not supporting this. Down to 40, and let me play with the. You push the gamma down, but then you overexpose the center of the. Yeah, this is like let's say the entry level in the Skyraider series. I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay, now. Where were those prominences? Oh, there's a lot of birds flying by. There it is. Now it's at the other side. Let me bump the gain up a little bit. Lower the exposure. I want to do, they do a flip. No. Okay, now we're back. This camera has a larger sensor than the other one. It's 11 millimeters versus the 6 millimeter. So that's 200 times. And let me see what I can do about reduce the saturation a little bit. Yeah, okay. And let me go to a inverse. That's one feature this camera has that the other one doesn't. The software allows for an inverse view. Every camera works a little differently. You can go to about 3 or 350. That's 350. Let me see if I can tweak focus any. What this also allows you to do, you can take like 3 mean, average them, and then it's going to kind of take out the roll. Go down to what, 300% now. Not a bad looking view. The pressure tuner's just kicked up again. There's a lot of stuff, like little low stuff, low prominences right on the edge. There's 150. We go back to the positive. There's the positive view. Go to 100. It's 100. You can see there's also stuff right at the very top at the 12 o'clock position. Nothing as dramatic as that big one on the side, but let me see what else is available. And there's some little small ones down here. Of course, small is a relative term. Let's see what happens when I go to I like increasing the sharpness. I'm going to max sharpness here. That's a feature that the other software doesn't have also, is sharpness. I can play with the black level. I can play with the noise. I haven't tried the mono version. There's mono. You can also make it monochrome or color. I usually lower the hello, hi, you Matt and Jack. You may want to sign off and sign back in with your name. That's a pretty impressive view. So I'll reduce the blue. The green is, reduce the green. Okay. To me, that's a nice view, the negative. Yeah, Rock's been, hey Dewey. Yeah, Rock's been talking to the programmers for MallinCam Sky. He'd like them to incorporate both the sharpness feature and the negative feature. That would really be something great to have. Let me scroll over to this big problem for Dewey. Sorry I missed your broadcast earlier, Dewey. 9 o'clock I was at Sam's and Walmart shopping with the wife. So let me go back to the positive. Because there's all kinds of stuff going on in that problem. I was telling people in the broadcast I did this morning around noon. This is the first time I've used this observatory in about 6 weeks. Uh, it's been a while. I was showing everybody there's not a whole lot on the surface. Oop, gotta go a little bit longer than 0. Other than this, it's like a filament here, another filament over here. There's not a whole lot on the surface. A little small one here. Let's see, what can I do to bring that out better? No, not necessarily. Yeah, the filaments, it's material that's been blown off the surface. Generally, they would be near spots, but I'm raising the, let me raise the black point and see what happens. At least that's my understanding. Okay, so then the camera setup, let me reduce the saturation again a little bit. I'm at 12. Okay. And like I did this morning, I am grabbing a video. Hopefully I'll upload it later. Let me increase this by 1 millisecond. Okay, 1 millisecond. The issue I have with the Quark is that it's fairly high power because it has that 4.2x Barlow built into it. So I was in the scopes I was using the Quarks on getting very small areas of the sun to look at. I generally like looking at more at one time. I ended up selling my 2 Quarks. Jim Thompson has them now up in Ottawa. Yeah. Well, this I have this is an 11 millimeter sensor, so it's half the size of the one in the 16M. But I have the MFR6 that gives about a 0.8 reduction, so it changes the f6 down to f4.8, and I have 15 millimeters of spacers in, so it's probably closer to f4 right now on the 6-inch scope. Let me see if tweaking the pressures makes any difference. I'm on 12 on the primary. Let me go to 12 and a half. Okay, I increased the primary slightly. Let me increase the primary another half a psi. Okay, now let me increase the secondary. Okay. I don't know which way the sun is rotating. But there could either something rolling off the limb up here, like a sunspot, or it's rolling on. This area right up in here. And if it's more on the surface tomorrow, then it was coming on. If it's not there tomorrow, it was rolling off. Oh God, there is a website. What is the website? Soho, S-O-H-O, solar. Oh, what's S-O-H-O stand for? I'm looking it up on my iPhone right now. S-O-H-O. How about S-O, not D-O? S-O-H-O. Soho NASA. Let's see. Solar and Heliospheric Observatory homepage. SOHO www.nascom.nasa.gov. Let me see if I can. for which software, Jack, I'm using MallinCam StarVision software to run the camera, and that's what you're seeing in the window, and it allows for StarVision is not a SkyRaider. It's a totally different camera, uses totally different software. The only camera that Rock sells that uses the StarVision software is the StarVision. The SkyRaiders all use. Oh, that was the camera I started off using. Sorry, I gotta change the title. Oh, let's go back. How about? Sorry for the confusion. Let's see. Hopefully that'll be less confusing. Okay. Inverse. Let's do an inverse. I like the inverses. Let's see if that. With the inverse, it almost looks like clouds drifting over. So you can see those filaments silhouetted against the solar surface. Because I guess blue is the inverse of red. If I was in mono mode and went to non-mono, so that's the mono sun. And when you do the inverse in mono mode, you simply flip these shades of gray. But when you go to the color mode, you're changing the reds and greens and blues. Yeah. So let me go. Yeah, a different exposure to get the prom. So let me go back. Let me go to the proms. I'm at 6 milliseconds now. I'm going to go to keeping the gain the same. I'm going to go up to about 35, 40 milliseconds. There's 40 milliseconds. And what happened to my histogram? Okay. Default. Lower the white point. Okay, and then I could probably reduce the exposure a tad. Or I could reduce the gain. Well, it depends on what you want to say, yeah. So that's 2 times zoom, 2x. Let me see where that pine tree is relative to the sun. Oops. I need a little bit more time. Let me raise the scope a bit. I have to the lifting column now almost to maximum height. But you can get the whole solar disk with the StarVision with the AGM or AG 1.2C. You can only get a part of it even with a focal reducer. I just blew it up. I really threw up the gain from 2 to 5 just to see what else is up there. And there's a few other small proms over here, here, down here, a row of them along there, some low ones along here. There's stuff all around the limb today. It's hazy. It's not, when you look at the shadows on the ground, they are not crisp. So it is not a perfect day by any means. But it's the best day I've had in a long, long time. Look at that cluster at the top. Real low proms, right along the limb. I don't know if I can focus any better. Nope. I think that's it. That's the best focus I can get. Oh, well, I'm going to go shut it down for again, and hopefully I'll be on later. So goodbye for now, Sam, Dewey, Starry Jack, Matt, and the guest. And if it's dark, I'll try to do some deep sky. The moon's going to rise about 8, I think it is tonight. Where's my sky tools? I got sky tools running somewhere, I thought. Let's see, where's sky tools? Moon rises tonight at 8:57. That's about 9 o'clock. Okay. See y'all later. Thanks for stopping by.